This page right here is everything I need to file my taxes. I've been a part-time reseller on eBay for the past 8 years, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I file my reseller taxes in literally 10 minutes. Because once your numbers are organized like this, filing is honestly the easy part. At the end of this video, I'll show you exactly how this page is set up, how you can get your own copy of it for free, and how you can make it update automatically in the future whenever you sell something. So let's get started. How reseller taxes actually work. The biggest mistake new resellers make is thinking they get taxed on sales. You don't. You actually get taxed on profit. Net profit is sales minus cost of goods sold, minus fees, minus expenses. And that's the number the IRS cares about. It's not your payouts, it's not your 1099K, it's not the total amount that eBay processed. It's literally just net profit. So let me make that real. Let's say I bought these shoes for $60 and I sell them for $120. That sounds great, but I didn't make $120. eBay takes a fee, I bought a shipping label, maybe I used a box and tape that I paid for earlier. So my actual profit is closer to $35. And that $35 is what actually matters. When I first started selling, I basically just looked at payouts and thought, okay, I made money. But then tax season comes around and you realize that there's a huge difference between the money that came in, the money you spent, and the money that you actually kept. And that's why it has to start with profit. Now, if you're reselling, the main form you care about is the Schedule C. That's where your business income and expenses go. And if you made a profit, you'll also pay self-employment tax on top of the regular income tax. But don't worry about that right now. Just know this, your job is to get one clean profit number, and then the tax software pretty much handles the rest. And one more quick thing before we move on. The 1099K form that eBay gives you is not your profit. It's just the gross amount processed. So if your 1099K says $20,000, that doesn't mean you made $20,000. It means $20,000 moved through the platform before fees, shipping, refunds, and cost of goods. Another thing you may have heard of is the words cash versus accrual. And honestly, most of you don't really need to overthink this. Most small to mid, even full-time resellers use the cash method. That basically means you record income when you get paid and regular expenses when you pay them. Accrual means that you record income when the sale happens and expenses when they happen, even if the money hasn't moved yet. And in my personal opinion, it's more for larger and more complex businesses. And if that's you, talk to a CPA. What actually matters for most of us watching is that inventory is not a normal expense. You don't deduct inventory when you buy it. You deduct it when it sells. So I bought a lot of this stuff that you see here back in December, but I didn't deduct it yet. And as I've sold it slowly, now it has become cost of goods. How I calculate my numbers. This is the part that actually saves me time. If I had to rebuild this in March from eBay reports, shipping receipts, and random notes, it would be terrible. Instead, I track it all in one go. For every item, when I list it, all I track is what I paid for it. Then, when I sell an item, my spreadsheet automatically tracks what it sold for, fees, shipping, and subtracts my cost of goods number to get my net profit. So you have the basics. Now zooming out, there are really 4 totals that I need by the end of the year. Gross receipts and sales, which is your revenue, cost of goods sold, other business deductions, which includes fees and expenses, and finally, net profit. So revenue is obvious. It's all the money that you make from your sales. This includes the price that the buyers pay for shipping as well, but it doesn't include sales tax, so don't use the number from the 1099K eBay gives you for this. Now, let's talk about cost of goods, because this is where people usually get lost. You're not trying to track when you bought inventory for tax purposes. Instead, you just need to answer 3 simple questions. What did I start the year with? What did I buy this year? And what do I still have left at the end of the year? And that's how you get cost of goods sold. Take your beginning inventory, add any purchases you made throughout the year, and subtract your ending inventory. So let me give an example. I started the year with $1,000 worth of Nintendo Switches and Chromebooks. And let's say throughout the year I went to Goodwill and flea markets, and I spent another around $2,000 on other inventory. By December 31st, I still had around $700 worth of that inventory sitting unsold. That means I didn't use up the full $3,000 yet. So my cost of goods sold is $2,300. And this is exactly why I like tracking per item on my spreadsheet. Because when I know how much each item costs, my cost of goods isn't some mystery number or guess. It's just the total cost of whatever I have sold so far. Other than cost of goods, the only other thing to track is general business deductions. Basically, it's an umbrella for everything else, but it includes things like eBay fees, advertising fees, shipping labels, refunds, but also boxes, tape, printer ink, software, and even mileage. Many of these are not part of the item's cost in the same way inventory is, but they're still operating expenses and they still reduce profit. Mileage is a good example because people often forget it. If I spend a Saturday driving around to thrift stores, garage sales, or even Facebook Marketplace pickups, that mileage can still count. So even if it's a really short trip, I just log it, because by the end of the year, when you add everything up, it's usually still a real deduction. Refunds matter too. If I sell something and either give a partial or full refund, I deduct that from my revenue as well. So by the time I'm done tracking everything, this summary page gives me exactly what I need. And the great thing about my spreadsheet is that it does this all automatically. All I did was really just type in how much I paid for each item I sold and any expenses I had. So now we're ready to start filing. How to actually file. I use Free Tax USA. It's literally free and it's super straightforward and works well for me. But you can also fill out the Schedule C manually, which is what the software is doing in the background anyways. So fill out your information, and for business code, I usually put used merchandise retailers, but pick the one that works for you. Okay, so it's time to start on your Schedule C. The first step is gross receipts. That's my total gross profit for the year. Add together the price your buyers paid for the item, plus any shipping costs they paid, and you have your number. Then I enter cost of goods sold. This is the inventory part I was talking about earlier. Free Tax USA will usually ask for the actual pieces that make up cost of goods, not just one final number. So I'm entering beginning inventory, purchases, and ending inventory. And that's the same formula from earlier. Beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory equals cost of goods sold. On the actual Schedule C, this gets calculated in part 3 and it flows up to line 4. And this number is not something to guess. It's really important that it comes directly from inventory tracking. Now for deductions. This is everything outside the inventory itself. It includes things like platform fees, ad fees, returns, shipping labels, boxes and tape, mileage, software, and printer supplies. And on my spreadsheet, I keep these organized in categories so I'm not figuring this out at the last second. But just go through slowly. Refunds and returns goes to line number 2. Marketplace, payment, or even ad fees goes in line 10. Mileage goes in line 9. Packaging and shipping supplies goes in line 22. Shipping labels and software and any other miscellaneous business costs go in line 27A. The only confusing one out of this is shipping labels, and that would technically be a miscellaneous cost, which goes in line 27A. And that's it. I'm not sitting here trying to remember what happened 6 months ago. I already did that work during the year. So now I'm just transferring all the totals. And once income, cost of goods, and deductions are in, Schedule C gives me net profit. On the real form, it's line 31. And that's the number that really matters, and all the other numbers flow into it. And before you hit submit, I check 3 things. Does my revenue make sense compared to my 1099K? Is my ending inventory actually what I still have? And did I include refunds and normal expenses? If those 3 are right, I feel good filing. And that brings us back to this page. Everything I needed for my Schedule C came from here. I remember early on I had to dig through my old eBay orders and make educated guesses on some of the purchases I couldn't really remember. My hope is that no one has to scroll back through months of sales trying to figure this out. So I actually linked the exact spreadsheet I used below. It's completely free to generate for your own store. It's a Chrome extension, and if you want, you can set it up so it updates automatically every time you make a sale, so you're not doing any of this manual work. Also, I'm going to be on Discord helping people set this up and just answering general tax questions. So if you're stuck or want help getting your numbers right, join that. At the end of the day, this is the difference. Either you're guessing your numbers in March, or you already have everything done. And yeah, that's pretty much it. See you on the other side.